Hey, Jonathan here at Colfax Math. Today I was going to go over the second part of the CBEST exam. This is a California Basic Education Skills Test. I'm only going over the math portion. In the first video I went over the first 25. In this video I'm going to go over the next 25. So hopefully this will help you pass that and get you closer to being a teacher. So it's a wonderful profession. Very rewarding. I love it. Been teaching 25 years. I wouldn't trade it for the world. So okay, stay tuned and we'll go over the last 25 of this test.
Measure the height. Yeah, no, measure the width from here to here.
Laminated overnight on a CNC cut jig. This is a CBEST practice test that you can find online. I'm only going over the math portion. It is a California Basic Education Skills Test, and it's required to teach in California or Oregon. It's kind of like pretty much every other standardized math test. There's some tricks to it. My 5 key strategies to be successful on any standardized math test is prepare so that you can relax. So the best way to prepare is watch tests like this. And then my next strategy is pace yourself. You never want to spend too much time on any one problem. Figure out how much your overall time is and then divide that by the number of problems. Mark up the test. So this is a paper test. And the CBEST is actually administered on a computer, but you're going to have scratch paper with you. And you want to label and mark up that scratch paper as much as possible. So if you're working on problem number 26, label it 26, show all your work. And you do that for a couple of reasons. One of which is to minimize the amount of careless mistakes. The second is if you run out of time and you go back to it, you don't have to start the problem all over again. You could just continue on from where you stopped. My 4th strategy is look for cues. So that's really saying, what are they asking? What is the intent of this problem? And then lastly is really go slow and be careful, work carefully. The hardest problem on the test has the same weight as the easiest problem. So you don't want to spend a bunch of time figuring out a hard one and then making a careless mistake and missing an easy one. So really, mark up your test so you can see what you're doing and work carefully. The math portion of the CBEST is split into 3 sections: estimation, measurement, stats. The second section is computation and problem solving, and the third section is numerical and graphing relationships. So computation, problem solving is numbers 16 to 33, so this is in that category. Okay, so let's get started. 1 through 25 is in a different video, and this video will be 26 through 50. Number 26, you counted 34 more birds, it's going to be plus, in the morning than in the afternoon. If they counted a total of 76 birds, so you're going to count a certain amount in the morning, a different amount in the afternoon, but it's going to be 34 more, and that's going to equal a total of 76. So that means that plus that has to equal to the total of 76. Combining similar terms, 2x. Subtract 34 from both sides. 76 minus 34, 42. Divide both sides by 2, and I'm left with 21. So the answer is A. Actually, I forgot to say this at the start of the test, but the best way to prepare for this right here is do the problem first, pause the video, hopefully you got it right, but if you didn't, or if you need help on the problem, then watch me solve it. So, kind of go back and forth. Okay, number 27, solve for y. This is just algebraic. I'm going to combine similar terms. Y and 3y is 4y. Add 2 to both sides. 4y equals 12. Divide both sides by 4. Y is equal to 3. 27 is B. Down to 28. A fridge is filled with 42 sandwiches. There are 13 turkey, 14 cheese, 15 egg. By the end of the period, 21 of the sandwiches have been sold. So all I've done is convert that paragraph into just laid it out. Which of the following facts can be determined from the information given? The cost of a turkey sandwich, that's clearly not it. I don't know how you'd figure that one out either. The total number of sandwiches that can be placed in the fridge, distractor. Total dollar sales, there's no dollar amounts anywhere there. The number of sandwiches remaining in the refrigerator. So this is actually just a really easy problem, mostly about reading comprehension. Okay, so it's 28, 29. Read the problem below. To reach a destination, they plan to drive about 400 miles each day for 5 days. So this is 400 miles per day for 5 days. Cost of gas is $2 a gallon. Oh, that must be obviously an old problem. How much money would they budget for the gas on this trip? All right, so right when I hear this, I have no idea what sort of mileage the car is going to get, so I think that it's going to have something to do with that. There it is right there. The number of miles per gallon. So it's B. Okay, down to number 30. Maria left her home at 9 a.m., ran 3 miles to the lake, ran around the lake twice, once, twice, and then ran home along the same route, just came back this way, and it was a total of 10 miles. What was her average speed of jogging? Which single piece of info do you need? What time she got home, right? I mean, you don't have time, you just have time of day. So all these circles and lines doesn't really mean anything. You just need to know either when she returned or the total amount of time it took. So as I look down here, the time she returned home will give me the total hours. So 30 would be B. Okay, over to 31. Antonio buys 4 notebooks for $3.50 each. The next day he returns to the store and exchanges the notebooks for three notebooks that have gone on sale for $1.75 each. He uses the following expression to calculate the amount of money he should receive back from the exchange. 4 times his original payment, and then he bought 3 at $1.75, so that makes sense. B, I guess that makes sense. The difference in the books is the out, and then $3.50 is a return. Right, so this is how much the difference in the books times the 3 notebooks is how much he's going to make, and then the $3.50 is how much more he'll get in his pocket. So problem 31 is B. Hopefully that made sense, kind of through a process of elimination. Okay, on number 32 here, 14% of 50. He does so by computing in the following way. So this is converting the percent into a fraction, or we could have converted it into a decimal. So which of the following? Here it is as a decimal. 0.14 times the 50 would be answer E. So 32 is E. All right, keep going. Go strong. We're on 33 here. Use the table below to answer the question. The table shows Sabra's grades for her class. Her overall average, the test average. The test average counts twice as much as the quiz. So if this is X, this is 2X. The final exam counts twice as much as the test. So then if this is X and 2X, this is twice 2X or 4X. So that would be the weights. To find her overall average, uses the following expression. 83 plus 2 of those plus 4 of those divided by the total number of 7. Here I'm multiplying by 7. Here I'm dividing by 7. So 33 is E. So I have the 1 score, 2 times the test score, 4 times the final exam score, and then I divide by 7 or multiply by 1/7. Starting on number 34, this is the beginning of the numerical and graphic relationship section. So use the chart below to answer the question. The chart above displays relations between x and y. Given this, what would be the value of y that is missing? So we got 0.5, 0.5, 0.5, 0.5, 1.5, 1.5, 1.5, 1.5, 1.5. So the answer is 7.5. Number 35 is proposing a 5% increase in the number of days. Currently there are 180 days. How long would a school year be with the proposed increase? So it's going to be 5% more. I'm going to multiply this by 5 to get 0, 40, 5, 9. So that would be, right, this is actually 0.05 because it's 5%. So I got to move the decimal place over 2. So it would be 9 days more, or 189 days total. I could, I guess, figure that out without multiplying it out and seeing 10% of 180 is 18. So 5% would have been half of that. All right, turning the page. Number 36, which of the following mathematical statements is correct? So this is fractions. They all have common denominators. This is a greater than less than sign. So 2 is certainly not greater than 3. Now we got the signs reversed. 2 is not greater than 3. 2 is not greater than 3. Oh wait, this one's a possibility. Let's take a look here. Here again, 2 is greater than 3, so it has to be D. Just make sure that looks right. 3 1/3 is less than 3 2/3. Yep, so that one's right. So 36 is D. Number 37, kind of the same idea here. Which of the following values goes in the box to make this true? We're already in 6, so these we really want to look at 6. Before I put a quarter in there, let me just go to easy one. So this would be 2 6. That one doesn't work. To get this to 6, this would be 3/3 to be 3 6. That one does work. And look at that, I didn't have to do any of the complex ones. So kind of through trial and error, I was able to figure out that 37 is equal to C. Okay, turning the page to number 38 here. Which of the following math expressions is equivalent to base times height divided by 2? Multiplying fractions here, that would be BH over 2 times 2, 4. That doesn't work. That doesn't make sense, right? That's just times 2 instead of divided by 2. That's going to be B plus H over 2. This one right here is B times H times a half, or divided by 2. So that's the exact same expression there. And then this one doesn't make sense. So 38 is answer D. All right, we're getting there. Number 39, which of the following numbers is between 2.3 million and 2.6 million? So again, I'm going to go through a process of elimination and cross out the ones that don't make sense. 2.2 million is not. 303 is not. 327 is not. 329 is not. 2589. So it has to be that one right there. 39 is E. Number 40, if the value of x is between 0.0051 and 0.038, which of the following could be x? So this is actually a place value problem. So 038 is much bigger. 038, 0, if we have the same number of figures, 0.0051. So I want a value between 51 10,000ths and 380 10,000ths. The value of x is in between these two. So what number here would be between 51 and 380? And I could see it's 261. So once you write them out, it's easier to see the place value of them. Turn the page to 41. Right here, Abby drives an 18-mile round trip. So 18 miles round trip would be 9 each way. If her daily round trip is rounded to the nearest 5 miles. So I'm rounding 18 to the nearest 5 miles. So I round 18 to 20. Which of the following is the best estimate of her total number in 5 days? Total number in 5 days would be 20 times 5, 100. Okay, 42. Carrie ran the same distance in 4 different races. Her times are 18:04, 21:39, 12:99, and 14:14. If the individual times were rounded to the nearest 1/10th place, so that's that one right there, 1/10th of a second, what is the estimate of her total time for all 4 races? So nearest 10th, this is going to be 18 even. I'm going to round down. This is going to be 21.4. This is going to be up to 13. And this one right here will be 14.1. I'm going to add those together. So it's going to be 0.5, 11, 12, 16. Carry the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it should be 66.5, or 42 is B. Use the information below. The grocery store is located 3 miles away from the house. So this is 3 miles. The house is located 4 miles from the highway. Based on the information above, which of the following conclusions can be made? The grocery store is no more than 3 miles from the highway. That's wrong. These kinds of problems, the best way to do these is really a process of elimination. You got to read all these answers anyway, so you're just kind of looking for a way to disprove the statement. So I go highway over here, it could be 7. The grocery store is no more than 1 mile away from the highway. That's not true. The grocery store is no more than 7 miles away from the highway. So no matter where that highway goes, it'll be within 7 miles. That one is true. Let me keep going just to double check. The grocery store is exactly 3 miles from the highway. We don't know that. The grocery store is exactly 4 miles. So 43 is C. 44, the distance to a destination is greater than 10 miles. So 10 miles or greater. So I'm here to here. If the distance to a destination is greater than 10 miles from home, then Matt will drive his car. So that's where he uses a car. If the distance to a destination is greater than 2 miles but less than 10 miles, so greater than 2 but less than 10, he will ride his bike. If the distance to a destination is less than 2, so x is less than 2, then he will walk. So if it's greater than 10, he'll take his car. Between 2 and 10, his bike. Less than 2, he'll walk. One more time, we're going to use a process of elimination on this one. His home is less than 1 mile from Zach's apartment. Oh, I got to read this part here. If Matt rode his bike to Zach's apartment, which of the following statements is true? So that means that this is his bike. This is false. It actually is greater than, so that's false. Zach's apartment is about 7 miles from. It could be. It doesn't have to be, but it could be true. So this is a good answer, but we'll keep going. Zach's apartment is at least 10 miles. That's false. The round trip distance between Matt and Zach's is greater than 20. That's false. So C is the best answer. So 44 is C. There's a softball practice every Saturday throughout the season with the following exceptions. If it rains, practice is canceled. There's no softball practice on the 3rd Saturday, so 3rd Sat is canceled as well. If it is Saturday and there is no softball practice, then it must be true that it is raining. It could be raining. It is the 3rd Saturday. That could be true. It is raining and it is the 3rd Saturday. That could be true. It is raining or it is the 3rd Saturday. That is definitely true. Softball games on the 3rd Saturday. So 45 is D. Partial school schedule above shows start times and end times of classes. Except for lunch, all classes are the same length. What is the missing start time for the 5th period? Well, 8:40 to 9:36 is an hour minus 4 minutes, so it's 56 minutes. So this will be 56 minutes before 1:15. So I'm going to do 1:15 minus an hour, which will be at 12:15. But it's not an hour, it's 4 minutes less than that, right? 56 is 4, so it'll be 12:19. So 12:19 is the answer B. 47, things are getting a little bit long here. Use the chart below to answer the question that follows. How many metric tons of silver were produced outside the U.S. in 1950? So let me take a look at this. We're talking about 1950. This is total world production, 1347. I'm sorry, this is total U.S. production. This is total world. So the difference between the two is going to be the answer. So I'm going to do 6323 minus 1347. I could do all this out or just kind of look at these answers and see that 47 is greater than 23. So the answer is going to be under 5,000. I don't know if you could see that there. So this is going to be the answer. 48, use the graph below. Quadrillion BTUs. This is nuclear power, and then this is hydroelectric. According to the graph, what's the maximum difference in energy consumption between the two sources of energy? Well, it's definitely going to be this difference here. The difference between 3 and 6 and a little bit. So I'm going to take 6 point something, I don't know, 0.2 minus 3 and get 3.2. And there's nothing even close to that. So D is the only close answer. So it's 3.2. 49, getting to the end. Use the chart below to answer the question. What percent of total crop yield did the central farm generate? Here's the central farm. I have percents for all others. So I got to add all these up and subtract from 100. 31 and 7, 38 and 21 and 24 is 13, carry the 1, 83. So this has to be 17%, or answer A. And lastly, number 50, finally, use the graph below to answer the question that follows. Sales to time. The graph shows the sales over a 60-year period. What years did the sales increase? So I'm looking for the steepest line. So this line's steeper, flatter, flatter. So this is my steepest line. So between the years 1950 and 1960. So the answer is B, and I am done. So I sure hope that helped. It's kind of a long test, but it's part of teaching school to pass the CBEST. I hope you kind of watched this video, did the problems, and then if you needed help, pause and watched my way of doing it, and hopefully you took something away from it. I'd love to hear your comments below. If it was helpful, hit subscribe. I'll put a link in my description to some books that might also help you with the CBEST exam. So thank you for watching, and look forward to seeing you in the teaching profession.